Let's talk about the song Both Sides of the Story from the album Both Sides. Now, I absolutely love the song Both Sides of the Story, and I adore the album Both Sides. But together, it's a hard juxtaposition for me. It doesn't really make a ton of sense. Lyrically, I don't think it really fits into the album. In fact, it feels more like a But Seriously song. It feels more like a Colors or Heat on the Street or Another Day in Paradise. It feels like it's almost left over from that, and we're transitioning into that album. Even sonically, it starts off really big. And again, I love this song and I love the album, but you go really, really big like this song, kind of like Dancing to the Light. But whereas Dancing to the Light stays at that high Latin, exciting level, this drops right down to being more of a mellow, introspective, dinner party type of record. Again, absolutely adore this record. And I know I've heard from some of you that you love Both Sides as well. That warms my heart because I thought I was the only one who loves Both Sides, but I really love Both Sides. It's just that when I drop the needle on Both Sides of the Story, it feels really big, really huge, really political. I think thematically as well, it doesn't fit in because the album, Both Sides, in my mind, we're talking about both sides of a relationship that's falling apart. And he's very, unlike Face Value, in this breakup, he's very empathetic to the people involved, like the children and the people he's hurt and the affairs he's had. And so I feel like it's lyrically, the whole album connects together with the exception of Both Sides of the Story. And now I know he touches on other subjects throughout the song. I get that. But for some reason, this song stands out a little bit to me. And it's just weird. It's weird to criticize it because I absolutely love this song. I never skip it, but it doesn't set the tone for the album. We did this with Genesis. We did a whole video about the best album openers for Genesis. We're going to do that again with Phil Collins. And this song will lose points because I love it, but it doesn't set the tone for the album. It's way bigger than the album is. Now, I want to talk about this because this was also the lead-off single from the album Both Sides. The next song was Every Day. And this song did okay, but really I imagine this would have been like a bullet to the heart for Phil because he probably got the sense that he had aged out of what was popular in the 80s and 90s. And now in 93, he was maybe adult contemporary because when you look at the charts, I think this went to number 24 in the US. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Or maybe it went to 23 and Every Day went to number 24. I can't remember. I could probably check that, but I don't have a producer. You guys don't pay me enough, so I just have to guess. But I mean, look at this, right? We are 2 years away from We Can't Dance, which sold a ton of copies and had big hits. We are 4 years out from But Seriously, which was insane. He was at his absolute peak there. And so, I kind of just wonder, like, to have this song only go to like number 24, number 23 on the hot singles and to do actually pretty well on the adult contemporary, same with Every Day. Did Phil know that this was the beginning of the end? If this was like on the other side of the hill, when it comes to just like, no, I don't think that this is a bad record. And I don't think the record that follows it is a bad record. But you know that like when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, and you're a pop star, you know it's going to end, right? We see it all the time. It's going to end and you're now going to become a legacy artist. So I was just looking at the chart positions for this album and for this song, and I wondered, wow, this would have been the first time that he wouldn't have been a king of pop in the 90s. And yeah, anyway, again, I absolutely love this record. I'm just being a little sympathetic and thinking about what that might have felt like. I really do like this song. I really do like this album. My only criticism is it just doesn't fit in. I think the lyrics are great. It's a long tune. It's kind of a Genesis-y tune. It's kind of a No Son of Mine song. But I never get sick of it. I love the whole thing. I sing along. And then it flows fine into the rest of the record. But that just kind of that juxtaposition lyrically and sonically from the rest of the album has only been my critique. But I don't think he could have gotten away with doing an album of all super slow, soft ballads. I think the record company would be like, dude, we need something happen on the way to heaven. We need a Sussudio. You know what I mean? So I think he needed to have a big tune like this and to have a big lead off because maybe it did transition his fans well from the But Seriously era into the Both Sides era. Just a thought. What do you think of this song? We've already done a review of this album. You know I love this album. And I'm glad to hear that some of you love this album. But what do you think of this song? And what do you think about my opinion about, how it fits in with the rest of the record? I know it does have brothers and sisters later on in the record in Survivors and We Wait and We Wonder, but I just feel like at the top and into some of the other slower tunes, it strikes me a little bit. But I'm curious to know what you think. Thanks for watching.